Well, hello. This is David Deal, your friendly neighborhood dean. And it's been a couple weeks since I've talked with you, but wanted to give you an update and talk to you about a couple of changes that we're going to be implementing for the rest of the semester. So, first of all, it's been so good to hear music in the building again. My job as dean requires me to spend the majority of my time on administrative tasks, but it was music that led me here, that passion. And I literally got chill bumps the first time I heard the choir singing. In fact, I'm getting chill bumps now just even remembering that. And just heard a brass group in the hallway, had a student play an original composition for me, and it's just exciting. I've really enjoyed having the students back and seeing your faces and spending time in classrooms and in team meetings, and it's been good. It has been an odd semester, and I tell you the thing that I've had to do is that I've had to unlearn some of the things that I've learned over the years. With COVID and with the pandemic, we have to adapt. One of the definitions of intelligence is the ability to adapt. And so I've struggled, quite frankly, at times in trying to unlearn the things that I've learned over the years because they don't necessarily apply to the current day situation. And so today I need to talk to you about one of those. Um, Here's what I know: rehearsing and practicing is the only way to get better. And if you want to create a cohesive group, the more time you spend rehearsing as a group, that's going to be the best result. So that's what I know. But I'm going to have to unlearn that. You're going to have to unlearn that as well. I need to ask you to do that. While that principle is still true, during the pandemic, if and when you rehearse, you have got to be thinking about time and distance in all occasions and in all ways. So, as far as time, if you are practicing in a group, you should not spend more than 20 minutes practicing together, especially if singing is involved. So, regardless of the space, even with outdoor spaces, I would encourage you to limit 20 minutes. And I'm not sure outdoor rehearsal is a great idea. It might be disruptive or draw a group together. So, I'm not encouraging that. But try to limit your time if you're in a group of 20 minutes. The larger the space you can be in, the better. And you can schedule large spaces through Brooke or through Susan if you need to do that. As far as distance, if you're with instruments, you should be wearing a mask when you're not playing the instrument. I know Dr. Murdoch has ordered some masks with the gap in them, and those should be coming soon. And then you should have at least 6 feet of spacing. For singing, if you are in a well ventilated space, like Sierra is a great example, we are allowing singing if there is at least 15 feet of separation, but again, with the 20-minute rule, and that you should put your mask on when you're not singing. Otherwise, it's got to be 6 feet and a mask whenever possible in 20 minutes. So those are the things. Now, part of the reason I'm sending you this message is that I was recently informed that the music department has a disproportionate amount of students on the infected list and quarantine list. I've also received reports over the last 2 days of students congregating in the loft without masks, more than one student at a time in practice rooms, and unofficial rehearsals and gatherings outside of the building and class time without proper distancing and or masks. Now, normally I'd be pretty excited to hear that students are wanting to interact with music and practice and get together and do those. That's a mark, I think, of a healthy Department of Music. But these reports are concerning in that they may limit our opportunity to make any type of music at all if the campus would need to close because of an outbreak. So we're going to have to balance these priorities. So I'm asking you to stop doing the things I just mentioned. Please know this is not intended to be punitive, just preventative. I'm going to say it again. This is not a punishment. We're just trying to figure out how to work together, students, faculty, administration, to make sure that we can continue to have face-to-face classes. And the only way to do that is to avoid the spread of COVID. And these, unfortunately, musicians, especially vocalists, are considered super spreaders. So we have to take additional precautions and be extra careful. Now, in order to help with some of these, we've implemented a couple of changes to slow the spread. We're going to lock the Jackson and Wakefield buildings at 5 o'clock each evening. Now, music and worship students, you should be able to get into these buildings via the mobile access app. If you're having problems with the app, see Brooke or Susan to make sure that you are added or renewed back on that. We are going to lock all practice rooms. You will still have access to those, but you're going to have to, during the day, you need to go to the front desk and they will unlock those for you. And during the evenings, we will make those available from 5 to 9:30. In Jackson, there will be a student worker in Jackson 224 who can sign you in and unlock the room. And during this period, the next 2 weeks, we are going to limit your total time in any one room to an hour. And then after that, we'll rest that for 30 minutes. In Wakefield, you will need to stop by the computer lab to sign in and have the room unlocked. This will allow us to monitor the use of the rooms. Again, someone mentioned to me that they saw at least 2 students, so we'll be monitoring to make sure there's just one in a room. And then it can also allow us to do contact tracing, that if someone uses a practice room, then the student worker or whoever checks you in will journal the time and who it was, so we can do some contact tracing through practice rooms as well. And that will just help us to tighten up our procedures there. Other measures are going to include canceling some of our choir rehearsals, and you should have been informed of that already. For the next week and a half, the canceling of band practicums and band challenges for the next 2 weeks. And I think Haas has already reached out to you about that. And removing some of our performances to completely virtual events. And I know that was short notice for 2 of the events this weekend. I apologize for any inconvenience. I don't know if parents were coming. It was just what we thought was the most prudent to do under the circumstances. So please pass on my apologies. I apologize to you again for the inconvenience, but pass those on to anyone that were making plans. We recognize that all of this is less than ideal. But again, the goal is to continue to have face-to-face interaction and have the ability to make music together, even on a limited basis. Having experienced what we did in the spring, where we were unable to do anything but over and online and virtual, we want to have the opportunity to make music face-to-face, even if we have to restrict it in some regard. If you have concerns or suggestions, or if you just need to vent, please reach out to me via email, and I'll be glad to set up a Teams meeting to talk and try to help you as much as I can, even though I know that this can be frustrating enough that we may not be able to find a resolution that makes you happy or satisfied. At least know that we care and understand some of your concerns. We will send you updates as they become and as they are necessary. Also, I want you to keep on the lookout for a special mid-semester devotional by Dr. Vernon Whaley. You should receive that on the break date, October 5th. So good day, and God bless you. Goodbye.